We're here back in the Fantasy Bar. 6 games on the slate, 6 picks for your DFS lineups, including some of my favorite guys in the mid-range, some guys I think are underpriced, some pivots off some of the chalk plays, and a beast of the night at his cheapest price all season long on DraftKings. Who is it? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fantasy Bar, Beers Daily Fantasy 6-pack, ready to rock with 6 guys fresh off the tap for you on both FanDuel and DraftKings. Thank you, as always, for checking out the video. Now, before we get into the plays, guys, couple things. First of all, make sure you head over to scoresandodds.com and check out the new site over there. Lots of premium picks in every major sport, basketball, PGA golf, and, of course, the Super Bowl coming up. And you didn't see it yet, had a special prop edition of the 6-pack, so go check that out. Gave you 6 of my favorite props for the Super Bowl, but make sure you head over and check out scoresandodds.com. Now, while you're here, take a second, click that thumbs up button, guys. That's the tip jar here in the Fantasy Bar. Helps us out tremendously, and I greatly appreciate it. And also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, get notified when the videos are coming out. All right, let's jump into the slate here tonight. Again, we got 6 games. We hope we'll keep an eye on that Detroit situation, and that's exactly where we're going to start with small forward, power forward JERAMI Grant of the Pistons. Now, obviously, this game gets canceled. We'll make some switches here. We'll make some changes, but if not, I really like JERAMI Grant. He's got revenge on his mind. Didn't get the chance to play his former team last night, and I think he takes that out here tonight on the Utah Jazz. But if this game is good to go, I really love the spot for JERAMI Grant. First of all, let's look at the price. $7K on DraftKings, under $7,000 on FanDuel. Great buy low here. Let's not forget JERAMI Grant just a couple days ago, back in January 28th or the 30th, it was almost $8,500 on DraftKings. So a couple down games have really driven his price down into the dirt, but we want to buy low on that price, especially here with Utah, who generally has been known as a solid defensive team, but some of that has changed this season, especially at the small forward position. One of the worst teams in defensive efficiency against this position, ranking 27th there. So a buy low here, a good matchup, and a lot of early builders may avoid the Pistons thinking this game's going to get canceled. That may lower the ownership a tad here, but all systems go here for me if this game goes on JERAMI Grant. All right, let's stay in the mid-range at shooting guard, small forward with Gary Trent Jr. of the Blazers. So CJ McCollum on the shelf. We know that's meaning big things here for not only Damian Lillard, but also a cheaper Gary Trent playing a ton of minutes, averaging almost 36 minutes per game over the last 4, stepping in to that shooting guard role. And it's not only minutes, this guy's getting his shots up as well. Dame can't score 30 and 40 every single night. Trent, 15 or more shot attempts in that same 4-game stretch. So a guy that's being aggressive offensively, a guy that's putting solid numbers on the board in this game. We get a huge total here. And I know Portland on their 3rd game in 4 nights, that makes me a little bit more concerned with some of the higher end assets you'd have to spend. Guys like Damian Lillard, or even the big men like Enes Kanter, guys like that I worry about a little bit more with this situation. Trent, mid-range play, not as worried about it. We have a 240-point total here. We have a 1.5-point spread. I do think we get some fireworks. We just saw Washington involved in potentially the game of the year in that one against the Nets. We saw that Portland-Chicago game. These guys have been in some tremendous games, some high-scoring games, and I think that continues here tonight. I think Gary Trent, a very solid option for you on both sides tonight in this matchup with Washington. All right, let's go to the point guard position. I think a lot of people are going to be looking to spend up here. We're going to do the same, but we're going to go with Malcolm Brogdon of the Pacers. Now, we just talked about that Portland-Washington game. I think you're going to see a lot of ownership go to those guys, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Russ coming off the huge game. Dame with maybe the shot of the year in that game against Chicago. So I think a lot of people are going to try to pair those guys up or go that route. I don't have a problem with that in some of my lineups, but we always look for a way to get different, and I think Brogdon gives us that. 40 or more DraftKings points now in 4 straight games. There's a 60 burger in there. And why do I include that? Because it shows he has the level of upside to get you close to what those guys can do and maybe even outdo what Lillard and Westbrook can do, not only at a discount on the ownership, but also a big discount here on the price. And I love this matchup as well. As much as I love Ja Morant, he's a good offensive player, still a lot to learn on the defensive side of the floor, and that has shown bottom 10 in DraftKings points allowed to the point guard position. Malcolm Brogdon, big upside in this game at a discount from both Russell Westbrook and Damian Lillard. All right, let's go to power forward center. Let's go to the other side of that game. We're going to go with Xavier Tillman of the Grizzlies. Now, probably not the correlation you thought you'd see here, Malcolm Brogdon and Xavier Tillman correlation, but that's exactly what we're going to do here. And I know a lot of this hinges on Valanciunas. If he's going to be back in that lineup tonight, obviously puts a little bit of a ding in Xavier Tillman, who honestly has been playing well, even with Valanciunas in there. So I don't even hate it if JV's back. I think it'll help lower the ownership. But if he's out, all systems go here for me on Xavier Tillman, especially if you are a cash game player. This guy's getting it done each and every night, really delivering that 5x floor that you're looking for, averaging over 27 DraftKings points a game in the last 5. And I know it's not exciting. He's kind of got that old man YMCA game, but he's getting it done here. Multiple steals and or blocks, 6 straight games, and we know how valuable those can be over on FanDuel especially. So again, a boring option, but a guy I think you can plug in your lineup, feel good about the production you're going to get, especially if Valanciunas remains on the shelf. All right, let's get to a higher end, more exciting option at point guard, shooting guard with Fred VanVLEET of the Raptors. Now, this is one I expect to really go overlooked here tonight, especially at that $8,800 price point on FanDuel. So it feels like a good buy low on DraftKings, and I always talk about it. Sometimes when the price seems too high, that can help us out in ownership as well. There's enough value on this slate where, yeah, it's probably an overspend, but we're going to get them very low owned over on FanDuel at that price. But the point is, we just had this matchup. Fred VanVLEET was awful in that game, did not shoot the ball well. Fantasy points were down. I'm expecting him to really get it going here. This guy's been so consistent this season, 41 or more DraftKings points in 6 of the previous 8 games before that matchup the other night with Orlando. And this is a spot Orlando really struggles with. Give up a lot of fantasy points. They also give up a lot of points to this position. And we know Fred VanVLEET, a hell of a scorer at that shooting guard position. So a bounce back spot here, a buy low on DraftKings, a potential low ownership situation with that price on FanDuel, but a lot of reasons why I like Fred VanVLEET tonight here against the Orlando Magic. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play of the night. Before we do that, guys, we're going to continue our Beast of the Night contest, free to play. A thank you to you guys. Just get in the comment section below and guess fantasy points on FanDuel for my favorite play of the night. The closest guess will win a 3-day pass to RotoGrinders Premium or a free RotoGrinders t-shirt. Let's wrap this baby up. The 6th and final play of the night. You know, Matt, the Beast of the Night. All right, Beast time. We still owe you a center. We're going to go to the other side of that Toronto-Orlando game. We're rolling NIKOLA VUCEVIC, tonight's Beast of the Night. Now, Vooch not going to be a low-owned play here tonight, no doubt, but center is ugly tonight. I feel really good about the prospects here for Vooch, so we're going to lock him in, especially on DraftKings. You got to go all the way back to opening night against Miami to find an $8,200 price point on Vooch. So first of all, we get a buy low here. Second of all, we know Orlando dealing with a lot of injuries, specifically Aaron Gordon. Well, when you lump in some of these injuries using our Cord IQ tool here on RotoGrinders, you get a nice 3.5% usage bump for Vooch. And again, consistency, the name of the game here, 40 or more DraftKings points in 13 of the last 16 games. We know there's some 50s in there. We know there's some 60s in there. Just played well against this team the other night. I expect him to do it once again here tonight. So we've given you some guys a little bit off the board to save you some ownership. NIKOLA VUCEVIC will be a popular play tonight with good reason. I'm locking him in to the majority of my lineups and easily my favorite play on the board in tonight's Beast of the Night. All right, guys, that'll wrap us up here for Tuesday night in the Fantasy Bar. As always, any comments, questions, feedback, hit me up in that comment section right below the video. Don't forget fantasy points for Vooch on FanDuel for your shot at some RG Premium. Also, make sure you head over to scoresandodds.com, check them out, and if you're betting the Super Bowl, check out my 6-pack prop video. You can find that on RotoGrinders and on YouTube, giving you 6 of my favorite prop bets. Get in the comment section over there. Let me know, disagree, agree, and give me some of your favorite bets for the Super Bowl as well. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut. Best of luck. Don't forget, tomorrow night, the FSOG's Takeover on Grinders Live, 5:30 to 6:30. We'll see you then, guys.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist